So I've had both consoles for about 2 years now. It's been a wild ride. As soon as I got my Xbox, I was super excited. I started with the Xbox Series S and then worked my way up to the Xbox Series X. 2 years ago, it was so hard to get these consoles, and now they are so available for you. So that's been the biggest transformation over these last couple of years as to the availability of consoles and how it's all evolved. It's crazy. And with the PlayStation, when I finally got it, I was so hyped. It was just unbelievable. And when you first unbox it, plug it into a TV, the cinematic experience that you will get will just blow your mind. The connectivity with the DualSense controller and the whole immersive experience of the gameplay and all the features it has, it is just such an incredible and unique experience that I've not really had before with gaming. I'm going to talk about a long-term perspective of the Xbox and the PlayStation and my honest view on both, which one you should buy. With the Xbox Series X, things that are absolutely incredible about it is the Game Pass that offers a wide range of games, both backwards compatibility, some of the newer games, and what's great is you don't have to go out and spend money on brand new games released on the Xbox because they will most likely be on the Game Pass, and they have day one editions of games, so you have the availability to not have to spend too much money on too much games because of the Xbox. That's what the biggest offer of it is when you get it, you get the immersive 4K gameplay at the 120 Hertz. You get the Game Pass where you can get some of the latest games, the exclusive titles on the Game Pass, and it's worth getting the Game Pass Ultimate because it's an affordable price, but it has such a wide range of games that you don't really have to go out and spend too much money. You've already got Forza 5 you can spend a lot of time on. You've already got Forza Motorsport as well, that's been brand new this year. It's more these premium titles that you do have to buy on the Xbox Series X. You know, there are games like Hogwarts Legacy which you have to go out and buy. There still has to be some games where you have to buy. And also with the backwards compatibility, I've tested it out and it's not 100% compatible with all of the Xbox generations prior. There's certain games that I really want to be able to play on these latest consoles that I just can't. I want to play Ultimate Alliance and stuff like that. And those games, they're just off-bound at the moment, and I have to get the older generations to be able to play them. So I wish there was more improvement with the library of the Xbox Series X with the backwards compatibility, because I think that is the biggest draw with the Xbox Series X now at this point. It is the backwards compatibility. So if they really focus on that library and just update it regularly, I feel like the Xbox Series X could actually be really dominant in the long term. In terms of its actual performance, it's super fast. I played it for like a good 8-hour session, longer than that sometimes, playing Elden Ring, and it's held up really well. There's no noise, fast gameplay, and we've got the game switcher inbuilt, which is super fast as well. It does utilize a 1 terabyte storage, which is larger than the PlayStation 5 storage inbuilt. The built-in SSDs are very similar. You know, a lot of these internal components are very similar with the Xbox and the PlayStation. The menu system has these cool 3D backgrounds, which they used to have for the PlayStation 4, but for some weird reason, they're not doing it anymore with the PlayStation 5. I feel like this could be a feature for an update for the PlayStation 5 to have these updated animated backgrounds. But what is cool is with the PlayStation 5 is when you move between different game selection menus, it changes the actual look of the game that you actually selected. So let's say you've selected Spider-Man, you'll get the Spider-Man theme up as like a graphic, and then you'll get the music that goes along with it. So it's pretty cool and a pretty immersive experience. I did find like PlayStation does do it better because it has the equal layout of the media menu, and then we've got the actual gaming menu. With the Xbox Series X, while it looks really cool with all these like 3D art animations and stuff in the background, it doesn't have that media menu separated from the gaming menu, so sort of jumbled all sort of together and everything. I still found that 1 TB just wasn't enough storage, especially for having the Game Pass. So you will have to fork out for external storage. I found it easier with the PlayStation to get a cheaper internal or external storage solution. For the Xbox Series X, it is a couple $100 to get the internal storage solutions, and to get like 1 or 2 extra terabytes, you're spending like $300 to $600 extra to get that sort of thing. So for me, it just hasn't been worth forking out that much when I have the PlayStation 5 available with cheaper internal storage solutions. So with the PlayStation 5, what I've really loved about it, as I've said before, is that immersive experience as soon as you open up the console. But what also is awesome is the game selection of the PlayStation 5 is unmatchable at this point. We've got Spider-Man 2 released this year. That was one of the best exclusives even now, and it just shows, even with the fast travel, like how fast that SSD is with the PlayStation 5. It's really powerful. The immersive experience, it really showcases the storytelling, the immersion of the gameplay with the PlayStation 5. Like, Sony are really leading with the gameplay and the storytelling aspects. There has been Starfield released this year, which has been a great success, but I found that Spider-Man 2 has been more appealing to me as the actual endgame user. I found that I've had a lot more fun with it. Yeah, it's just been a great time overall. PlayStation have a really wide range of really cool accessories that look exactly like the PlayStation originally. We've got the media remotes, we've got the headsets, we've got the whole collections there, and you can customize that with different sort of selections. You know, we've got the new Deep Earth collection, a wide range of different colors as well available to us in different accessories too, such as the headsets, the controllers, and we've had some upgrades available now as well with the DualSense Edge and the Pulse 3D Elite series, the Pulse Explore series coming out as well. I did find with the Xbox Series X, there are a lot of like customizable controllers though, with a whole range of different colors. Even with the Elite Series 2 controller, there's so many customizational options there as well. With the PlayStation 5, you know, we've even got SCUF compatibility, so you can customize your own SCUF Pro controller. In terms of connectability with external monitors, I found that PlayStation have done a really great job with connectability with external monitors. Whether you're turning on your PlayStation or finding your best settings for HDR or just general gameplay, I found that PlayStation has this inbuilt software that can easily analyze any external monitor. The quick resume feature for Xbox is really good, but the fast load times with the PlayStation 5 has also been really good. Xbox is a little bit quieter to play, while PlayStation 5, I have found, kind of gets a bit noisier as you go on in time. So it is an interesting collaboration between the two. I'm finding that I'm definitely playing my PlayStation 5 a lot more than my Xbox Series X 2 years in. So I highly recommend it. There's some amazing games for your PlayStation 5, but there's also amazing games for your Xbox Series X. So it's not to discount any model. You play what you want to play in terms of your consoles, but for me, PlayStation 5 wins this time. Thank you for watching.